Today on Riffs, Spirits, and Gear, we shoot out a couple of rocker verbs. Having recently become an Orange artist in an actual official capacity, I instantly got a lot of questions asking me what the differences were between a Mark II rocker verb and a Mark III rocker verb. And it just so happens my good friend Jon from the band The Home Team owns and tours with a rocker verb Mark II. And myself being an owner of a rocker verb Mark III, I thought, you know what? I see some opportunity. Now, we're not gonna compare them in a full mix or anything like that. I really wanted this to be kind of a stripped down, head-to-head, just we're listening to raw tones, a microphone in front of a cabinet, using two different guitars, and that's exactly what I did. Now, all the mic'd tones are using an Orange PPC 212 that is owned and toured by Jon's co-guitarist in the Home Team, Ryan, and it's a 212, it's stock, it has the vintage 30s in it, it's very broken in, it sounds very, very nice. I used a Sennheiser E906 microphone straight into a Stam 1073 Neve preamp and straight into my Mac Pro. No EQ has been added in post, nothing has been done in post. There's been a few challenges with the differences of the head, and I'm gonna explain that really quick. So the Mark III rocker verb has a built-in attenuator, a global attenuator that more or less functions like a master volume in practical use. You can set the different levels of the clean and dirty channels, and then I use the attenuator to bring them both channels uniformly up or down. The rocker verb Mark II doesn't have an attenuator, so the challenge was to really match the outputs of these two amps. So what I ended up doing was I found a good level that I liked just under band practice level with the rocker verb Mark II. And then I set the channel volumes the same as close as I could because the Mark III's channels and the knobs, the controls on the Mark III are dented. So it's not just a completely variable volume pot, it's stepped, okay? So I got as close as I could and then simply used the attenuator to bring both volumes up or down, in this case down, to where the Mark II was. So I got uniform output from both amps, and the channel volumes are very, very close. The guitars I'm using are an Ernie Ball James Valentine signature model, and then a 2018 Ernie Ball Music Man Cutlass guitar with a humbucker in the bridge. Now, enough of the technical stuff. Let's get to hearing some tones. First, I'm going to set the EQ for both amps at noon, and we are going to compare the Valentine model using the Mark II and the Mark III with the EQ set at noon on the clean channel, and then we're gonna make a second pass with the Valentine using the dirty channels with the EQ set at noon. After that, you are going to see the Cutlass with the same thing. EQs at noon, clean channel comparison, and then dirty channel comparison. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so now I'm going to set the amp's EQ and gain wise to where I just think they sound good. And then we're gonna compare the two again. Same deal. The Valentine, first there'll be the Valentine with the clean channel, Mark II and Mark III, and then the Valentine with the dirty channel on the Mark II and Mark III. And then we're gonna come in behind that with the Cutlass, dirty channel, Mark II, Mark III, and clean channel, Mark II and Mark III. I will note everything on the screen as I did before. Nothing's gonna change as far as that. And yeah, let's do it. However similar you feel the tones are between the two amps, they do feel very, very different. The Mark III with its attenuator is a much more aggressive feeling amp. The Mark II is kind of a laid back rock and roll machine, and the Mark III is a much more modern in feel amplifier. Also, the reverbs on these two amplifiers are vastly different. The Mark II reverb is pretty much unusable past the second notch. It's just a wash of madness, and it's not really usable, whereas the Mark III has a much gentler inclusion into the mix, and it's really, really usable throughout its entire range of the reverb sweep. So there is that, but the attenuator addition on the Mark III is just really, really amazing, because setting individual channels, especially if you're gigging and you need to adjust something, having to adjust individual channels at sound check or something like that is just time consuming and both a pain. My personal opinion is that for heavy music or anything remotely down-tuned, go for the Mark III. If you're a pop punk band like the Home Team, like Jon uses it, maybe the Mark II is for you. That is strictly your decision, but I hope this video was informative in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, big shout out to Jon and Ryan for letting me borrow their stuff. Check out the Home Team this summer on the American Safari Tour. Rest Repose will be taking them out on the road in June. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. All applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.